Hello, this is Mandy Boursicot with the Mandy Boursicot Atelier in Vancouver, Canada. In this video, I'm going to show you how to wash your brushes.
These are some of my brushes that I use for oil painting. It's quite a large collection, probably more than most painters have. The main thing to note is how clean and new they look, because I've cared for them properly. These are the supplies that you'll need. 2 silicone brush tanks, one that's a little bit dirtier, and a cleaner one, with their accompanying 2 mason jars containing used solvent, a bottle of new fresh solvent, a roll of paper towel, and some cut-up paper towels for easy use, solvent gloves, Master's brush cleaning soap, a brush holder, and a roll of toilet paper. Transferring the used solvent from the mason jars into the silicone brush tanks is a little bit tricky. Be careful when opening, and transfer very carefully so that the residue, the sediment of the used solvent, remains in the mason jar. All that sediment is at the bottom of that jar. Now we'll transfer the used solvent from the second mason jar into the second silicone brush tank. Slow down at the end so that the sediment remains in the mason jar. Now we're ready to clean our brushes. The first thing to do is to wipe off as much paint as possible onto a paper towel. Scrub vigorously in the solvent of the first tank. Wipe that off. Scrub vigorously in the solvent of the second tank. Wipe that off. Wipe off, pull off as much paint as possible with a paper towel. Scrub vigorously in the solvent of the first tank. Wipe that off. Scrub vigorously in the solvent of the second tank and wipe that off. Now we want to pour the solvent from the silicone brush tanks back into their mason jars. Pour when you get to close to the end, swish that around and pour vigorously into the mason jar. Same for the second set. Pour from the brush tank into the mason jar, swish it around at the end, pour vigorously because you want all of the sediment to go back into the mason jars. We've moved over to the sink and we want our brush cleaning soap. This is a big cake of brush cleaning soap. And our rinsed in solvent brushes. Use some warm water. Wet the brush with water, gather up quite a bit of soap, and scrub in the palm of your hand until there's no more paint, no more color left on that soap that's coming out. Rinse it out, have a look, do it again. Scrub it in the palm of your hand. And try to pull out as much paint and all the soap as possible. Lay it down on the brush rest and get another brush. You can see that there's some color on this brush. That's probably paint. Gather up some soap. Grab it in the palm of your hand. Use some water to rinse that out, and we're pulling as much paint and as much soap out as possible. Still looks like there's some color on that brush, so we're going to do it a second time. Pulling off as much as possible from that brush. And that looks pretty clean now. Lastly, we want to dry off our brushes and reshape them. So I'm using a sheet of TP folded in half, and I wrap that little sheet of toilet paper around the brush, folding and pressing. I'm not winding the brush, folding and pressing so that the brush will get back to its original shape. Fold and press, and fold and press, and fold and press, and fold and press. The idea behind using a little sheet of TP is that that paper is going to absorb any water that's remaining, both in the ferrule and in the hairs of the brush. And overnight it's going to dry. You're going to maintain the shape of your brushes. They're going to be nice and dry. And we're laying them down horizontally on a brush holder that's made a shoebox lid, so that water doesn't sink down into the ferrule. This is the last step in good brush maintenance.
I hope this video helps to keep your brushes nice and clean and in good shape. This is Mandy Boursicot. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. If you would like to support me in making more videos like this, please consider donating through my Patreon link. As little as $1 makes a difference. This is Mandy Boursicot. Look forward to seeing you next time.